Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Viktor Dmitrich Huliganov, one more time. This time I'm making like a mini sub-lesson. It's not got a number for the RL series. It is answering a question which one of my loyal viewers asked on the group. Just to remind you about the name of the group, it is http://groups.google.com/group/Huliganov, everything in little letters. There you will see the group in which we are discussing the course. Already there is 15 members, several threads, and you will notice that people are able to go well beyond the 1000 character limit or 500 character limit which they have here, even on the group section, unfortunately. But then when you think about it, there is no reason why Google should want to increase that in YouTube, because it already has the Google Groups discussion area. It doesn't need to duplicate it. I'm hoping that Google will put various parts of their empire together, enabling us to link our YouTube channels to our Google Groups. Hint, hint. Hope you're listening here, Google. Anyway, just to read this query that I got from my viewer Chandler on the group. Hello. Since the beginning of February, I have been watching all of the RL100 videos posted on YouTube by the wonderful Viktor Huliganov. Oh, you are very kind, really, you are very, very kind to me. I deeply appreciate the effort he has put into them. I appreciate your comment, believe you me. I am a university student here in the USA and will be moving to Russia in 2 months. Congratulations. To reside there for 2 years. Wow, fantastic, you will have good time. So one can imagine. Oh, by the way, get in contact. I put you in contact with good friends of mine who look after you, make sure you're okay. So no one can imagine how excited I was to see the Russian lessons posted on YouTube. The previous posts here in this group have been wonderful as well. The Russian music videos and artists, the Russian English keyboard and common word lists, for example. I agree completely with what Chandler is saying, and I have very good members on the group who have posted very interesting things, especially up to that, Pasquale, me, and other people too. I can't probably mention everybody at once, but I'm really very happy to see it starting off there. And here we come to the question. Now, any links or advice on how to roll R's would be greatly appreciated. I can do it to a certain extent, but I have to pause between the and rolling R in pronouncing R. The transition is not smooth. Another difficulty I've encountered is making the R sound natural. At the moment I think it sounds too forced and loud, as well as giving me a headache because I'm perhaps trying too hard. Yes, it is possible to do this too hard, to try too hard, but I think it's a good thing when you first learning to do it, to overdo it a little bit, because it's difficult to go, once you're in the habit of doing it too lightly, to doing it more strongly. But it's easy, once you're in the habit of doing it more strongly with more energy, to then lapse into the habit of making it more lightly. So it's not a bad thing if you do overdo it in the beginning. But let me just give a little lesson, some hints on people who even haven't managed to get as far as you. It is an acquired skill. In fact, children do not immediately make the sound R properly. In countries whose language contains a R, it is very common for children to, for example, say liba instead of riba, which means fish. And words like that, because they can't quite get themselves around R. I'm going to just put in here a little fragment of the day when my daughter for the first time learned how to really roll her R, because it's on the topic. I have a little video of that somewhere. I just put that in here.
Sophie, say it.
Jak mówił, guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Pokaż mi, pokaż.
Which should have amused you. And she, of course, the word Guten Tag in German is not followed by R, but she kind of like she liked to preface making the rolled R with the word Guten Tag from the German language and then say the R afterwards. It doesn't really make any kind of logical sense why she did it, but it was very funny. So, in any event, sorry about the nose rubbing and the eye scratching, but you just have to live, you know, you can't just stop living because you're making videos. How to do this? Okay, the way I would suggest to make a rolled R, if you've never rolled your R's before in your life, is really to take it this way. Start with the P and the D and put them together. Make it very quickly. Like a car starting. Ready? Oh, only joking. That's my Russian humor. We always like to joke about weapons, you know. Okay. Anyway, this is a good way to start. Just making the okay, it can start you off. But of course, this is how you would learn how to make a R, as it would be at the start of a word. Riba, riba, riba. Yeah, fish. Anyway, it's one thing to say the sound R on its own at the beginning of a word, and it's quite another to conjoin it with coming after another sound, and usually you'll find it's coming after a vowel. Sometimes it will come after an S. Use the term the light bulbs, yes, in Polish Osram, with a R in it after the S. Osram. This is the light bulb company which make light bulbs. They didn't change the name of their light bulb when they came to Poland, which is a little bit of a pity really, because Osram means I will put shit on you in Polish. But you know, they didn't change it, and they managed to weather the laughter, and now they are an established brand in Poland. So if somebody says, you know, I want to put shit on you today in Poland, everybody just think about a light bulb instead. So you could say they won that battle. Another time is to put the R after a vowel like A plus R. I can't think of anything offhand for Russian, but maybe the expression in Latin art for art's sake. Ars gratia artis. So you could go around saying the word for art in the nominative in Latin, ars, 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 and this will help you if you practice it out loud just as you're walking around during the day. Okay, you can use this word, say it over and over again, and practice saying the sound of the rolled R. Another example you could have for putting it after the sound U plus R, another Latin word, because also Latin should have the rolled R when you speak Latin. For example, the word curva, which is Latin for a curve, yes? You could walk around during the day saying curva, curva, curva. A lot of people do this in Poland and Russia, you know. They're just practicing their R, rolling their R's all the time, yes? If you don't keep up the rolling of the R's all the time, then you might find it gets a little bit sort of flabby around the edges, and you can't roll it anymore. So it's all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. Yes, just keep these R's rolling the whole time. And yeah, there are probably a lot of other words you could really find with the R in there, and just keep saying them out loud as you're walking down the street. Yes, you could just see these words out loud. Yes, and you could think of a lot of interesting words to say in public, which will make you a lot of good friends along the way, as well as help you to gain the good mastery of this phonetic challenge. I hope you were helped along the way by this. What could I tell you? Yeah, that the sound R is pretty much common. If you want to be a good linguist, you need to master it, because you get the sound in Italian, you get it in Spanish, you get it in Russian, you get it in most of the languages, you get it in certain dialects of German, you even have it in certain dialects of English. For example, Scottish people also roll the R's, yes? So, you know, it's not that it is completely alien to Anglo-Saxon speech. It isn't. There are many languages which don't have the rolled R. For example, English doesn't tend to have it, other than in one or two other dialects. Usually they have the R. Like American English has a quite pronounced R. Irish English has quite a pronounced R sound, R. Chinese R is also R, run, wobusha ban run. So you have a lot of the R sounds around the world as well, but probably more common as regards to the number of languages which have it is the voiced rolled R. There is also, while we're on the subject of linguistic meanderings, an unvoiced rolled R, and it sounds, this is not in Russian, okay, but just to cover the topic of the rolled R fully, an unvoiced rolled R is like this. If it helps you, don't put the voice in, do the and learn it without the voice, and then add the voice in afterwards. This, you see what I mean. For example, this unvoiced sound comes in languages like Hungarian, before an unvoiced plosive, in words like értem, which means I understand it. Yes, értem in Hungarian, or nem értem, it has a sound rather than an R. Also, one of the things you notice about, if you hear something sounding like Dutch, but it contains an unvoiced R, an unvoiced rolled R, it's Flemish. They also have this. Okay, it is a dialectical variation of the voiced rolled R in their dialect. And also you will find it in Welsh. It is written RH in Welsh. My rhaid I fi fynd. I have to go. My rhaid I fi fynd nawr, I have to go now, is a sound. And also in Icelandic you will find that an HR is a yes, okay, the Old Norse word for a whale, one of the Old Norse words for a whale, they had many, was Hron, H-R-O-N, and that means that they call the ocean the whaleway, not a whaleway like a person who can't pronounce his R's at all would call a railway a whaleway, but this meant that they call the ocean Hronrade, which is the way of the whales. Yes, this was in Beowulf, also a description of the ocean, a poetic description in Norse sagas and Old English sagas for the way that they describe the ocean. So I think I probably done to death the topic of rolling your R's on YouTube. Probably if you want to know more about it, you have to ask people like Emelina and what have you. They tell you a bit more about it from another perspective. But as far as the linguistic perspective is going about it, I think I probably done the subject to death now. But I hope I entertain or edutain you a little bit along the way. Thank you very much and goodbye for now.